Have you ever loved someone so deeply, only to realize their heart belonged to someone else? Imagine waking up to that truth not once, but twice. This is my story. Betrayed by the man I married, yet reborn with a chance to change everything. But fate had other plans. My name is Anika. For years, I believed I had the perfect life. A loving husband, a cozy home, and dreams that sparkled with hope. But beneath the surface, something was broken, something I couldn't see until it shattered in my hands. When I first met Armin, he was everything I wanted. Charming, attentive, and seemingly devoted. We married quickly, swept up in the excitement of youth and promises. But as months turned into years, the warmth faded. I too wasn't that I didn't notice his coldness. I brushed off his late nights, his distracted looks, the way he avoided my eyes. I told myself it was stress, work pressure, something temporary. But deep down, I feared the worst. One evening, everything changed. I found a message, one that wasn't meant for me. Words dripping with love, affection. From a woman named Maya. My world collapsed. The message wasn't just a slip or a mistake, it was proof. Proof that Armin, my husband, loved another woman while we were still married. At first, I couldn't believe it. Denial wrapped around me like a thick fog. Maybe it was a joke, a misunderstanding. But the texts, the late night calls, the hidden meetings, they all told the same painful truth. I remember that night vividly. Sitting alone in our living room, phone trembling in my hand, tears blurring my vision. Every promise we made felt like a lie. Every memory suddenly felt stained. I confronted him the next morning, hoping for an explanation, a reason, anything to salvage the shattered pieces of my heart. But Armin's eyes were cold, distant. There was no apology, no remorse, only silence and avoidance. That's when I realized the truth was deeper than I feared. He loved Maya. He had loved her all along, even while standing before me in our wedding vows. The betrayal cut deeper than I ever imagined possible. Days turned into sleepless nights. My heart ached not just from his betrayal, but from the emptiness of our home. The place where love once blossomed now felt like a hollow shell. Yet, amidst the pain, a small voice inside me whispered, "You deserve better." But how do you move on when the person you trusted most is the one who broke you? I had two choices: fight to keep a broken marriage or let go and find a new path. For a long time, I thought I couldn't live without him, but life had a cruel twist waiting for me, one that would give me a second chance, a chance to rewrite my story. The next thing I knew, everything changed. I woke up not in my cold apartment, but in a room filled with sunlight, warmth, and the faint scent of jasmine, the scent of my childhood home. At first, I was confused, disoriented. Was this a dream? Had I somehow traveled back in time? It took me a moment, but then it hit me. I had been given a second chance, a rebirth. I was back in the days before I married Armin. The days when love was still just a hopeful idea, not a heartbreaking reality. This time, I vowed things would be different. I wouldn't chase a man who didn't love me fully. I wouldn't lose myself in someone else's shadow. I would live for me. The pain of betrayal was still fresh in my heart, but it was also a source of strength. I was determined to build a life where I could be happy, no matter what happened with Armin or Maya. Slowly, I began to change. I worked on my dreams, finishing my studies, pursuing my passions, building my confidence. I surrounded myself with friends who lifted me up, and I learned to love myself in ways I never had before. I watched as Armin and Maya's story began to unfold, their secret glances, stolen moments, and this time, I didn't interfere. I let them be, because sometimes letting go isn't weakness, it's the greatest act of strength. But fate, as always, had more in store for me. Letting Arman and Maya be together wasn't easy. Every time I saw them laughing, sharing moments I once dreamed of having with him, a wave of pain would wash over me. But each time, I reminded myself why I chose this path. I was no longer the woman who begged for love that wasn't hers to give. I had grown stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. Watching them from a distance, I learned more about myself than I ever had in the years I spent clinging to a broken marriage. I realized that true happiness doesn't come from forcing someone to stay, it comes from loving yourself enough to walk away. In those quiet moments of solitude, I started to discover a joy I thought was lost forever. I made new friends, pursued new dreams, and even found laughter again, the kind that bubbles up from deep inside, untouched by heartbreak. But just as I began to build this new life, something unexpected happened. Arman reached out. At first, it was just a message, then a call, and soon he was standing in front of me, eyes full of regret. "I was wrong," he said. "I want you back." When Arman stood before me, his eyes pleading, I felt a storm inside. The man who had once broken my heart was now asking for a second chance. His words were soft, filled with regret and longing. "I was lost," he admitted. "But seeing you now, the woman you've become, I realize what I threw away." For a moment, my old feelings stirred, the love I once had, the memories we shared. But this time, I was different. I wasn't the same girl who cried alone at night. I wasn't the woman desperate for a love that wasn't mine to keep. I looked at him and saw not just regret, but selfishness, the selfishness of someone who wanted me back because he saw my value only after losing me. I asked myself, could I forgive him? Could I let him back into my life? And if I did, would it be for love, or just the comfort of familiarity? It wasn't an easy decision, because the man who left me for another still held my heart in his hands, and the woman he left me for, Maya, wasn't just a stranger anymore. She was part of this tangled web of love and betrayal. But deep down, I knew the answer wasn't about them. It was about me. As I stood face to face with Arman, the truth began to unravel, not just about him, but about all of us. Maya wasn't the naive other woman I had imagined. She was strong, independent, and fiercely protective of what she believed was her love. When I finally met Maya, there was no bitterness, no anger, only a quiet understanding between two women caught in a painful story neither chose. Maya confided in me that she too had been blindsided by Arman's indecisiveness. She loved him genuinely, but had hoped he would choose her completely. This revelation shook me. Arman wasn't just torn between two women, he was fighting his own demons, his fears of commitment and loss. But what struck me most was Maya's strength. She wasn't a villain. She was a woman fighting for her happiness, just like me. This changed everything. Arman's return wasn't a simple plea for forgiveness, it was a challenge. Could I rise above the pain and make the choice that was best for me? Or would I get trapped again in a cycle of heartbreak and regret? As the tension between us grew, I realized that this story wasn't just about love, it was about power, self-respect, and reclaiming my destiny. The moment of truth had arrived. Standing at the crossroads of my heart, I faced the hardest choice of my life. Arman wanted me back, desperate to rewrite our past, to rekindle a love he once took for granted. Maya, too, hoped for a future with him. Their bond tested, but still unbroken. But I wasn't the same woman who had once depended on his love for her happiness. I looked inside and found a power that came from pain, from surviving, from learning to love myself first. Could I forgive him? Maybe. Could I forget the hurt? Never completely. Could I rebuild with him? Only if he truly changed, not just out of regret but from respect and understanding. And what about Maya? I didn't want to hurt her, but I also couldn't sacrifice my peace for someone else's desire. In that moment, I made my choice not for Armin or Maya, but for me. I chose to walk away. To keep the strength I had fought so hard to build. To embrace the future I had shaped with my own hands. Because sometimes, the greatest love story is the one you have with yourself. Looking back on this journey, I realized that love isn't always about holding on, it's sometimes about letting go. Letting go of people who don't value you. Letting go of pain that chains you to the past. Reborn into a new version of myself, I learned the most important lesson. True love begins with self-love. My husband loved another, and though I gave them space to be together, I never lost sight of my worth. When he wanted me back, I was ready, not because I needed him, but because I had found strength in myself, and in that strength, I found peace. To anyone watching this story, remember, you deserve to be loved wholly and sincerely. If someone doesn't see your value, don't waste your heart chasing shadows. You have the power to rewrite your story, to rise stronger from every heartbreak, because your happiest chapter hasn't been written yet. Thank you for listening to my story. If it moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more heartfelt tales. Until next time, take care of your heart. You are worth it. Thanks for watching. Hoped you liked it. If you watched till the end, please comment love so that we could understand you were with us till the end. As well as, please let us know, where are you watching from? Before leaving, please hit the subscribe button, comment your thought, and share with your nearest and dearest one. See you in the next one. Until to the next one, spread love.